Have you ever wondered what it takes to catch a killer who seems to have it all? Money, power, and a facade of normalcy? Robert Durst, heir to a New York real estate empire, managed to evade justice for decades, despite leaving a trail of bodies in his wake. But even the most carefully constructed lies eventually crumble. In this video, we'll explore how Durst's own words became his downfall. Robert Durst walked into a Houston grocery store and shoplifted a chicken salad sandwich. The millionaire heir could have easily afforded it. But this wasn't about hunger. It was a cry for attention from a man who had gotten away with murder for far too long. Durst's life was filled with these bizarre, almost comical incidents. But behind the eccentric facade lay a cold, calculating killer. Today, we'll explore the strange duality of Robert Durst and how his own odd behavior ultimately led to his downfall. What the hell did I do? Killed them all, of course. These haunting words, muttered by Robert Durst into a hot mic, would become his undoing. The heir to a New York real estate empire had just confessed to multiple murders on camera. But how did this wealthy businessman transform into a cold-blooded killer? The story of Robert Durst is a chilling tale of wealth, power, and a decades-long game of cat and mouse with the law. On January 31st, 1982, Kathleen McCormack attended a dinner party at her friend Gilbert Najami's home in Newtown, Connecticut. The evening seemed ordinary, but unbeknownst to Kathleen, it would be her last known social engagement. She appeared unusually casual, dressed in red sweatpants, and visibly upset. The reason for her distress would soon become apparent. Robert Durst, Kathleen's husband and heir to a New York real estate empire, had cultivated an image of eccentric wealth. The couple's life appeared perfect on the surface, but beneath the veneer of luxury lurked a sinister reality. Just 3 weeks before her disappearance, Kathleen had sought treatment at Jacobi Medical Center for facial bruises. She confided in a friend that Durst had beaten her, revealing the volatile nature of their relationship. As the dinner party concluded, Kathleen received a phone call from Durst that prompted her to leave for their cottage in South Salem, New York. This would be the last confirmed sighting of Kathleen McCormack. Durst's account of the events that followed would raise suspicions and eventually crumble under scrutiny. Initially, Durst claimed he had placed Kathleen on a commuter train to New York City at Katona Station. However, he later retracted this statement, admitting he had simply gone home and gone to bed. This inconsistency marked the beginning of a pattern of conflicting narratives that would plague the investigation for years to come. The day after Kathleen's disappearance, a doorman and the building superintendent at the Durst's Manhattan apartment claimed to have seen her. This sighting, however, was later called into question when the doorman suggested he might not have been working that night. These conflicting accounts only served to muddy the waters of the investigation. As days turned into weeks, Kathleen's friends grew increasingly concerned when she failed to meet them as planned. They contacted the police multiple times, but the initial investigation was marred by a lack of urgency and thoroughness. Crucial leads were not followed up, and potential evidence was overlooked. 3 weeks after Kathleen was reported missing, a disturbing discovery was made. Some of her possessions were found in the building's trash compactor, raising suspicions about Durst's involvement in her disappearance. This discovery, coupled with Durst's erratic behavior, painted a troubling picture. In the aftermath of Kathleen's vanishing, Durst's actions only fueled speculation. He initially offered a reward of $100,000 for her return, a gesture that might have seemed genuine if not for his subsequent decision to reduce the amount to $15,000. This puzzling move left many questioning his sincerity and motivations. Years passed, and the case of Kathleen McCormack's disappearance grew cold. It wasn't until 1999 that the New York State Police reopened the investigation, breathing new life into the search for answers. In November 2000, they searched the South Salem cottage for the first time, a crucial step that should have been taken years earlier. As investigators dug deeper, new evidence emerged that cast doubt on Durst's version of events. A key witness statement from a neighbor revealed a chilling detail that had gone unreported for nearly 2 decades. On the night of Kathleen's disappearance, the neighbor heard screams coming from the Durst penthouse. This revelation added a disturbing dimension to the case, suggesting a violent confrontation may have occurred within the confines of their home. As the walls closed in on Robert Durst, another body would soon join Kathleen's in his growing list of victims. Susan Berman, daughter of a Las Vegas mobster, held a secret that would prove deadly. Her connection to Durst ran deep, intertwining their fates in a web of deceit and violence. Berman, whose father, David, had dominated illegal gambling in Minneapolis during the Great Depression before taking over the Flamingo Hotel and Casino, had been a close confidant of Durst for years. She had played a crucial role in facilitating his alibi after Kathleen's disappearance, a fact that now cast a sinister shadow over their relationship. On December 24, 2000, the quiet streets of Benedict Canyon, Los Angeles, were shattered by a grisly discovery. Susan Berman's body was found in her home, executed with a single gunshot to the back of the head. Neighbors, alerted by her open door and a loose dog, had called the police, unaware of the horror that awaited inside. The murder scene bore the hallmarks of a professional hit, but a crucial piece of evidence would soon emerge. A letter, postmarked December 23, arrived at the Beverly Hills Police Department. It contained Berman's address and a single word: cadaver. The envelope bore a distinctive misspelling, Beverly instead of Beverly, a detail that would later prove pivotal in linking Durst to the crime. As investigators pieced together Berman's final days, a disturbing pattern emerged. In the months leading up to her death, she had received 2 payments totaling $50,000 from Robert Durst. The nature of these transactions raised red flags, suggesting a possible motive for her silencing. When questioned, Durst confirmed sending $25,000 to Berman and provided a fax of her 1982 deposition regarding his missing wife. However, he refused to answer further questions about the murder, his silence speaking volumes. The investigation revealed that Durst had been in Northern California days before Berman's death. He had flown from San Francisco to New York the night before her body was discovered, placing him in chilling proximity to the crime. This timeline, coupled with Berman's recent contact with Durst about the LAPD's renewed interest in Kathleen's disappearance, painted a damning picture. As the net tightened around Durst, forensic evidence began to mount. Handwriting analysis of the cadaver note became a focal point of the investigation. Experts meticulously compared the distinctive misspelling and handwriting to known samples of Durst's writing. The similarities were striking, but Durst's legal team fiercely contested the connection. Years passed, and the case seemed to languish. But in a stunning turn of events, Durst's own attorneys made a critical admission in court. They conceded that Durst had indeed written the cadaver note, a revelation that sent shockwaves through the courtroom. This admission directly linked Durst to the crime scene and shattered his carefully constructed alibi. In the fall of 2001, Robert Durst's life took a bizarre turn in Galveston, Texas. The millionaire heir adopted a new identity, disguising himself as a mute woman named Dorothy Siner. This peculiar masquerade was more than just an eccentric whim. It was a calculated attempt to evade police inquiries related to the murder of Susan Berman. But Durst's efforts to escape his past would soon unravel in a grotesque spectacle that shocked even the most hardened crime investigators. On October 9, 2001, Galveston Bay became the stage for a macabre discovery. Body parts belonging to 71-year-old Morris Black, Durst's elderly neighbor, were found floating in the murky waters. The grisly find set off a chain of events that would lead investigators straight to Durst's doorstep. Inside his apartment, police uncovered a trove of incriminating evidence, including Black's driver's license and an array of dismemberment tools that painted a chilling picture of premeditated violence. As the net closed around him, Durst fled. His time on the run was marked by increasingly erratic behavior, culminating in a surreal incident on November 30, 2001. Despite having $500 in cash on his person, Durst attempted to shoplift a chicken salad sandwich, a newspaper, and a package of Band-Aids from a Pennsylvania supermarket. This seemingly nonsensical act led to his arrest and ultimately brought him back to face justice in Texas. The trial that followed in 2003 was a sensational affair that captivated the nation. Durst's defense team presented a narrative of self-defense, claiming that Black had threatened him with a gun during a struggle, resulting in a fatal shot to the face. But it was Durst's own testimony that truly stunned the courtroom. With clinical detachment, he described using a paring knife, 2 saws, and an axe to dismember Black's body. He admitted to bagging the remains and dumping them in Galveston Bay, though Black's head was never recovered. The prosecution's case seemed strong, bolstered by the gruesome physical evidence and Durst's flight from justice. Yet, on November 11, 2003, the jury delivered a verdict that sent shockwaves through the legal community and beyond. Not guilty. The lack of forensic evidence to dispute Durst's account of the struggle had created reasonable doubt in the jurors' minds. The public reaction was one of outrage and disbelief. In the aftermath of his acquittal, Durst didn't walk free. He pleaded guilty to 2 counts of bail jumping and 1 count of evidence tampering, receiving a 5-year sentence with credit for time served. But the questions surrounding the case lingered, particularly regarding the nature of the dismemberment. Former Judge Susan Berman, who had presided over the trial, later remarked, "You could see that this person knew what they were doing and that it was not a first time." This chilling observation hinted at the possibility of other undiscovered victims in Durst's past. The trial also brought Durst's mental state into sharp focus. A psychiatrist diagnosed him with Asperger's syndrome, suggesting that this condition might explain his seemingly callous behavior during the proceedings. However, for many observers, this diagnosis did little to explain the level of violence and precision involved in Black's dismemberment. In a stunning turn of events, Durst's participation in the documentary The Jinx led to his undoing. Unaware that his microphone was still active, he muttered the chilling words, "What the hell did I do?" Killed them all, of course. This hot mic confession, captured in a bathroom, sent shockwaves through the investigation. The FBI swiftly moved to arrest Durst on March 14, 2015, just before the final episode aired. The documentary had unearthed crucial evidence, including a letter with a telltale typographical error matching Durst's handwriting. The legal consequences of Durst's actions culminated in a trial that began in 2020. Prosecutors presented a case bolstered by years of suspicion and newly uncovered evidence. In September 2021, the verdict was delivered. Durst was convicted of the murder of Susan Berman. The trial included special circumstance allegations, such as lying in wait and killing a witness to a crime, underscoring the calculated nature of Durst's actions. If you found this story thought-provoking, please like, share, and subscribe to support more stories like this.